Hello and welcome. My name's Angie Holden and I'm a blogger and YouTuber at the Country Chic Cottage. Today we're going to talk about sublimation coatings. So I've done some sublimation videos over the past few weeks, and one of those was talking about surfaces that you can do sublimation on. And we talked about then that the surface that you do sublimation on needs to be polyester or polyester coated. So polyester shirts would work. A ceramic mug that has a sublimation or polyester coating on it would work. And I got quite a few questions about if you could add your own coating to, say, a mug you picked up at the dollar store. So let's put it to the test. I have two different brands of brush or spray-on coating that I'm going to use on some mugs. And then I have a brand that is a spray that's in a spray bottle that can be used on fabric. And we're going to try this on a cotton shirt. We're just going to see what happens. Let's see if these coatings work as well as a sublimation blank. So let's take a closer look at the products first, and then we'll get started with our experiments. So here are the products we're going to test today. So the first one is for fabric, and I only have one for fabric, and then I have two for hard surfaces. The one for fabric, I'll link to all these below, and you spray it on, allow it to dry, and then we can press our design. And I'll press it on this 100% cotton shirt. And I'll just probably do the same design in one area with the coating and in another area without the coating so we can tell the difference. Then I have two products for hard surfaces. I'm going to put them on the same mug. And this mug is just like a regular plain Jane mug that you can buy anywhere. This version is two parts. It has an activator and a regular, and then you mix it together and apply. And then this is just one part and you put it on there. And both of these, you have to allow it to dry, cure it in the oven, then do your sublimation in the oven, and then you get a finished product. This one doesn't say anything, but this one says not to put it anywhere like where your mouth would touch. So on both of these mugs, I'm gonna leave a lip at the top for someone's mouth to touch and just put the sublimation a little bit lower. I have cleaned both of these with rubbing alcohol before I started. And then I'm also going to give this sublimation wrap a try. This coating is from We Are Memory Keepers, and this wrap is from them as well. And I'm going to use it in just a little craft oven here in my craft room, because I do not recommend adding items like this to your household oven that you're going to be cooking in. So I recommend having a standalone oven, and I'll link to the one I have as well in the description below. So let's get started applying these to our substrates, and then we can allow them to dry and start our experiments. So this is the first one, and it's for fabric. It does say it's for like a cotton fabric, towels, pillows, wood, that you can use that on a variety of things. Now, it says to apply a decent amount to the area and do not apply too much, as it could damage the fabric. So that makes me nervous, but we're gonna try. And I did put some paper inside the shirt just so it wouldn't go through to the back of the shirt, just in case I get a lot. And I'm gonna try to keep it over here on this left side of the shirt and use the right side as like a regular sublimation and see what the difference is. I know you're not supposed to sublimate on cotton, but we'll see what happens. And so I'm just going to kind of spray just a small area here and just see what happens. Okay, I think I got basically a nice even spray across the surface right in this area. And now I think I'm just going to let this dry. And then once you let it dry, you're ready to press your design, it says. So you don't have to do anything else to the surface. So we'll just allow this to dry, and then we'll press the design on the left and right and see what happens. All right, so this one is the two-part, a bit like a science experiment. So I put 10 milliliters of the product into this disposable mixing cup, and then you add 0.5 milliliters to that. Now it came with everything I needed. It did only come with one mixing cup. I mean, I guess you could rinse it out. but it does come with this little syringe. All right, so I have the 0.5 of this one, and I'm just going to squeeze it in here. And it even came with this little stir stick. I'm just going to kind of mix it up. It does not say how long to mix it. All right, so I will say the smell on this stuff is really strong. I would recommend doing this in a well-ventilated area. And I went ahead and put on my gloves after I got to mixing this because it's really, really, really strong smelling, and I'm not sure if I should be touching it. So we are going to add the gloves, even though it doesn't say that, but, and it does say that it can be used on mugs, glass, tumblers, metal, wood, ceramic. And now it says to apply the coating with a brush and allow it to dry. So I'm gonna put this mug just on this piece of paper, and actually, I'm actually gonna flip this over, and this one is in goodies. So I'm gonna put NG so we know that this one is with this version. And I'm gonna use the brush it came with. This is what it came with. And I'm gonna brush it on. And again, I'm gonna leave, it's super runny. I'm gonna leave a small lip at the top where there's no coating, just so there's no harmful effects from like eating or drinking with this coating on the mug. All right, so I'm trying to get as even of a coating as possible. And I would definitely recommend a paper or something underneath there to catch the drips because it is super, super runny. And then I'm trying to make sure there aren't any drips on the surface itself. And then I think I'm gonna just set this aside to dry. And then, like I said, you have to bake it, then add your sublimation, and then bake it again. So it will be a two-step process once this dries. So that looks fairly even. I think I'm gonna call that good. I'm gonna set that to the side and allow that to dry. Next up is the We Are Memory Keepers version, and it doesn't smell as bad. It didn't come with a cup or anything, but this hole in this is super small, so I poured some in just to get it on my brush. And it basically says to uniformly brush the transfer coating onto the surface and brush until it starts to get tacky, and then wait 5 minutes and coat again. So basically, if you do several light coats, that's better than one thick coat, and not to allow it to pool or, you know, collect in any areas. So I'm going to brush this on, and I'm using like a disposable brush because I'm not sure, since it says it's going to get tacky, I wasn't sure what it would do to my brush. And I went ahead and put my gloves on again because that first one was so smelly after I got it mixed up that I thought my gloves might be a good idea. Again, I'm staying away from the top lip of the mug just to be safe. And I have a paper underneath me to catch any drips. So I'm going to go with the light coat idea. Just add a light coat to this at first. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to allow that to dry for 5 minutes. And I'm going to add at least one more coat, maybe two, just to have a few light coats on there. And then again, this one needs to be baked to cure it before we can add the sublimation. So I printed the same sublimation design 6 times, and I printed it all on one sheet. So the sublimation settings were the same for every print. Now, you might be able to hear the oven in the background of this video. I am curing the coating on the mugs, but since I don't need to cure the shirt, we're gonna go ahead and press this. So I am going to heat up my easy press, and then we'll start pressing on this shirt. So for the shirt, I have a sublimation mat on my surface. I have the shirt, I have a piece of paper, and it's protective paper for sublimation in between the 2 layers of the shirt. And then I'm gonna place a piece of protective paper over the top before I press on it. So basically this coating, I'm unfamiliar with it, and I do not want it on my easy press plate at all. So we are going to go ahead and heat this up. This removes wrinkles, moisture, anything from the surface. All right, and now that we have that heated up, we can place our designs into place. So remember, this side had the coating, this side did not. So I'm gonna place one of these on the side with the coating, and I'm gonna tape in place. Then I'm gonna place the other one on the side with no coating. Remember, this is a 100% cotton shirt. I don't expect the no coating one to look good, but it will give us something to compare to. All right, and now we'll just cover that back up. We are gonna cover with the easy press and press 400 degrees for 40 seconds. I'm covering both at the same time, so they'll both be pressed the same amount, and I'm pressing down as hard as I can for the full time. And once that time's up, I'm just gonna lift straight up. We're gonna remove this paper, and now I'm gonna peel back and take a look at the press on both of these. All right, so I don't know if you can tell on camera, but the side with the coating slightly yellowed where the coating was and where the heat was applied. So over here there's some coating that no heat was applied. There isn't any yellow, but where the heat was applied, there's a slight yellowing of the fabric, and it stops where I stopped spraying that coating. And this side of the fabric, even though it was under the heat, is still white. So the slight yellowing just is not good at all. So I would not recommend the sublimation spray for 100% cotton. Okay, so this is our first product on the mug, and I put it in the oven according to the instructions. So that's the 2-part product that I used. I put it in the oven according to the instructions to cure the coating. So first of all, the coating is extremely glossy, and you can see like all the marks from the paintbrush in it. Not happy with the coating at all. And then some of it actually turned yellow in the oven already, and I haven't even put my design on it. So not happy about that. And I did want to talk about how I'm going to do each of these in the oven. So this is a We Are Memory Keepers heat transfer wrap. This is actually a sublimation mug, so I'm also going to do this one with the same design so we can see how it looks on a sublimation mug versus the mugs that we added the sublimation coating. So all you do is wrap this rubber piece around and then add these silicone zip ties until it's super, super tight. And so the silicone zip ties are all the way around, and you just pull them, and the kit comes with the zip ties as well as the wrap. So this one's all ready for my oven. As soon as my other mug comes out of there, it's in there right now curing the coating, and we'll talk about it as well before I actually bake it, and then we'll bake all 3 mugs and then come back and look at the results. All right, so here is the version with the We Are Memory Keepers. I did 3 coats and then baked it according to the package directions. There is some yellowing in some places where it turned almost brown, and some spottiness, like it looks pretty bad. I'm gonna continue on with all of these though, add the sublimation, and then I'm gonna come back and we'll compare all 3. So the sublimation mug, this is the 2-part sublimation coating, and the We Are Memory Keeper sublimation coating. compare all three, see which one does the best with the actual print. All right, it's results time. All three mugs are out of the oven. I used the same wrap on all of them. And this is the one that is a sublimation blank from Amazon. So it came with a polyester coating already on it. Looks gorgeous, looks amazing. There's nothing wrong with it at all. So first up for our comparison is the two-part version. This two-part version is the N Goodies brand, and it's super inconsistent in the transfer. So if you can see, there's actually lines through the transfer, probably because the coating was uneven, but I'm just not wild at all about the look of it. Even on the mug itself, so it has like a glossy sheen to it, which I don't like, and then part of the mug yellowed. And then this is definitely not a complete transfer, and it has lines running through it. So I wasn't happy with this one. And then the We Are Memory Keepers heat transfer coating is the last one. And if I can get the camera to even focus on this one, the transfer was horrible. So it looks nothing like it is supposed to look like. And I did 3 light coats on this, so I expected it to do pretty well because it should have been like a super even and consistent coating. And then if you can see sort of this brown around the bottom, that's where the coating sort of turned yellow or brown with the heat. So bottom line was I didn't like either one of the sublimation coatings I tried. And I would definitely just do sublimation mugs that already have the coating on them for all of my projects because that works amazingly well. They look great. Definitely would not try the DIY coatings. And then while I have my camera zoomed in, we'll take a closer look at this shirt, hopefully, so you can see the differences. So this one is just the regular sublimation print. Now it is on cotton, so it won't be very bright on cotton because it doesn't have that polyester to react with. So I expected it to not be very bright, but the transfer is 100% complete. Now, the version on the coated side, so this is where I put that spray coating out of the spray bottle. The transfer is complete, but if you can tell, it just slightly yellowed around all this area. And you might be able to tell a difference, like this is white and this is just a pale yellow. So overall, I did not like this coating because of that reason. All right, so as you can see, this one was a big failure. Didn't like any of the products I tried. I did just try one spray coating. I have a friend that tried a different brand of the spray, and she had basically the same results, which were horrible. So I haven't heard of anyone using these coatings with much success or being able to produce the same results again and again with one of these coatings. Like if you buy a sublimation blank, you expect the results to be the same each and every time, which is amazing. And I haven't heard of those consistent results with any coating product. But there's always a first time, so I thought I would give them a try. Again, I don't recommend any of these. I will link to everything I tried below, just so like you can click on those and take a look for yourself. Feel free to purchase them, give them a try for yourself, but for me, I'm gonna stick with buying polyester shirts, polyester coated blanks, sublimation blanks, the correct products for my projects, and I'll link below to a video I have on my favorite sources for those type of materials. And that way you can pick those up if you would like, and that includes that sublimation mug that actually turned out well, not the ones that failed miserably. So thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you learned a little something. If you did, give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions about anything we've covered, please feel free to ask those in the comment section below. If there's some sublimation coating that you love, that you've had success with, I would love to hear about that. I'm looking for a product that you've been using for a while, you have results that you can repeat time after time, and then maybe I'll do a follow-up video with some of those and see if I can get some better results. But so far, 2 thumbs down on sublimation coating. So thank y'all so much for joining me today. We have crafty videos every single week, so if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any of those. And I will see you next week with another great crafty video. Thanks y'all. Bye-bye.